right, here's a guy. He's everything to all women and lots to one lucky man. Chris Isaak is here.
What's the problem? What's the question? What's the answer? Where's it heading? You keep talking. Where's it going? There's no answer.
Oh, must be nice to be you. That's.
No, it itches.
It itches. It occasionally burns. No, but I like Chris because he's kind of a Renaissance guy. I know it sounds corny, but he's a musician. He's a great singer and a songwriter. But he likes to go surf and he likes to box a little. And we were talking.
I can do roofing
for the show about the possible roofing gig. I might get just in between the records.
Has he offered to re-roof your house too?
Well, I was asking. I knew he does carpentry.
Yeah.
So I've done roofing before. So we were exchanging.
Oh, he hates roofing.
Yeah, I don't like roofing.
No, I mean, it's just he regales. That's one thing I know about Adam's carpentry career is that he wouldn't roof.
Show business is better.
Yeah, roofing is the lowest rung on the carpentry level. But
you're being disrespectful.
No, he got out of it. He's
right.
out. Look at him. He's a big success now.
He's right. All the people who do roofing is like they couldn't get jobs at carnivals. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. So, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about acting? You want to talk about music?
Oh, I thought people were going to call in with sexual questions, and we would try to.
We are going to do that. I wanted to plug. Well, let me just do this. I'll plug his 7th CD. Right. I'll force everyone to go out and buy it. That's right. And the first 6 only have one song on it. There it is. Speak of the devil. Now we can move on and help the disturbed kids.
Sounds good.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been married for 5 years and have 2 kids. And what happened is about a year ago, I walked in on my husband smoking marijuana, found out he'd been doing it for 4 years behind my back, told him if he didn't stop doing it, then I would divorce him because I don't want to raise my 2 kids in a home with a father who comes home high a couple times a week. He told me he would quit. And then about 4 months ago, I confronted him again because I was smelling it. He admitted he was still doing it, said he'd quit. The thing is, I think he's still doing it. I don't think he's going to quit. Am I wrong to demand that my husband be drug-free, and what should I do at this point?
Wow, we never find this caller.
He's doing it in the house, right?
No, I think he's like doing it in the garage, in his car, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when he comes in the house, I smell it. I mean, he acts high. You know, I don't want that around my kids.
Well, it's a different problem if he does it in the garage or in the car.
Well, I'm just asking. I'm asking because if he's doing it, in the bedroom, then he's really kind of saying F you.
Right.
Hey, I'm doing this. I'm not even going to try to conceal it.
He's trying to hide it from me, but he's not doing a very good job.
Well, the problem is you get stoned and then you try to hide something, and you walk in with like a roach stuck to your forehead and sunglasses on at 8:30 in the evening.
Well, he comes in and we'll be in an argument or something, and he'll start laughing, and his eyes are glazed over.
That's what I mean.
And I know he's high.
What else?
He's holding a triple scoop of ice cream.
What else have you noticed about his behavior, Amy?
He, like I said, he laughs at things that aren't funny.
How's he doing at work?
He must love this show.
I don't know. I mean, he goes to work. I mean, he works like 7 days a week, almost 12 hours a day. And that's one of his excuses.
But Amy, how much of this is he doing? Do you suspect it's 7 days a week?
No, I suspect he's doing it at least a couple, 2-3 times a week.
And would it be okay for him to do it under certain conditions, just like you do anything? I mean, the guy works his ass off. He's got
That's what he says. He thinks he has a right to do this.
Okay, but in a way, maybe you're driving him into the garage.
Well, you know what it is? If it was any other drug, we'd immediately go, you're right, and you should stop him,
That's what
and he's
I'm trying
a father.
to figure out.
But if it was alcohol, and we're saying the guy's drinking 3 days a week after work, still shows up to work every day, it's just not as coherent in an argument,
What kind of work does he
Where's
do?
the
Is like
line?
he's a U.S. senator or something?
Roofer.
No, he's a factory worker.
All right, but here's how you assess this. Does he have a family history of alcoholism?
Yes.
Okay. So there's already a 50% probability you're dealing with an alcoholic. Has he ever had any momentum with alcohol?
Yes, and he
Okay.
says he uses this instead of drinking
I
because he knows
understand
I
that.
don't want him
But
to drink.
when you have that biological, what alcoholism is a predisposition to conditioning of a piece of the brain called the reward system, the mesolimbic reward center. And it's outside of any conscious reach. It's just a region that creates drives like survival and hunger, and it creates these drives that get increasingly intense after long periods of exposure to any of these substances. It could be pot, it could be alcohol, it could be Valium, it can be heroin, it could be cocaine. It doesn't really matter. Each of these runs a different course, and marijuana has its own predictable course, and that is in a certain subset of people who are predisposed to alcoholism, they get high about the third time they use the drug, and they have this amazing experience. This drug is the best thing that ever happened to them. And they wake up every day thereafter thinking about smoking pot. They may not smoke pot every day, but they're going to smoke most days, and most marijuanics eventually smoke every day. And somewhere between 1 and 10 years, the effectiveness of the drug starts wearing off. People start getting irritable, they start getting depressed, they start increasing the dose to try to deal with that, because that's what they've used as their mechanism for coping all this time. It still doesn't work, they get more depressed, then they switch to alcohol or speed. And we see this all the time. It's one of the most serious addictions I deal with in my drug program.
Well, I'm worried about the long term.
But Amy, that's the syndrome. The problem is, how do you deal with it? You've identified somebody who's at risk, who's probably developing this problem. How do you deal with it? All you can do, and I mean all you can do, is go to Al-Anon. Go to get some codependency treatment. You can't control his disease. You got to decide where the lines in the sand are, where your limits are, and set them and keep them firmly established. If you have to leave him at a certain point, you can't tolerate him being around him if he's continuing to do this, you have to do that. But you can't control his disease. He's going to go on and do what he's going to do. You can go to Al-Anon and work a program, and then usually what happens if you do, the addict will usually get better in an attempt to keep up with you because they become genuinely afraid that you're going to leave. And usually that's what you do when you get better. All right?
All right. Wow.
Come on,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one caller we've had in months who's like, this is wrong and this is what I want to do about it. Is it okay?
Oh, man.
She's
I tell you,
all right.
she's got to get, maybe she can get him a job in TV or radio or something.
Oh, he'd do great in radio.
Yeah, but you know, I'm too scared to smoke pot and go on the radio. You know,
He could run the radio station.
oh, well, yeah, sure, they could work behind the scenes. God knows. All right, Shelley is on the phone. Shelley?
Hi. I was addicted to crank for about 5 years.
Oh, boy.
I've now been clean for 3.5. And while I was in recovery, I met this guy. We had a kid together and everything, and then we ended up breaking up. Now he has been coming back, and he's been wanting to get back into my life. He comes around like every 2 months, and when it doesn't work out, he always ends up going back and using drugs. And I really want to get back together with him, but I was wondering, how can I trust that he will be completely drug-free when we get back together?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how could you leave all that? I understand. I want this guy. Just hearing about him. I don't even really like guys, except for Chris, I do, just to say I did him. You know. Oh, come on, that'd be cool. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll take a look at a Chris Isaak video, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk to Shelley.
What's the problem? What's the question? What's the answer? Where's this headed? Please, you're killing me with all these questions. Please, 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 please.
A couple days ago. He's carrying that weight. Chris Isaak is here. Speak of the Devil's the name of the new CD. Drew's out in the audience. Well, he'll remain for the rest of the season.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
just the show.
Can I stay right in this
Coming
spot?
back. I like to sell his chair. Don't worry, you can flip the cushion over, take it to the cleaners, whatever you like. All right, who are we talking to there? Shelley, line 9?
Yeah.
Shelley?
Yeah, I'm here.
So yeah, you have this chaotic relationship. The guy's on again, off again with speed, right?
Right. Well, actually, it's heroin.
Oh,
that's
heroin.
You said
Better.
she was on crank.
Oh, you're on crank.
Right.
Oh, well, that's heroin then?
No.
Oh, what are we talking? He's on heroin.
He's on here, but she was on crank.
Oh, what are we talking about then?
I'm not on crank anymore. I was.
Okay.
Yeah, but it seems like you haven't lost part of the syndrome, that you can fix your partner and that this will be okay.
Well,
You went through this program. You know it's his
yeah. Well, I met
responsibility.
him in recovery.
Right, so
You know,
it's...
they talk all big, and then the next thing you know, they're They're, you know.
So it's his responsibility if he wants to stay sober, and you know you have no control over that whatsoever.
Right.
And you know that he keeps going back and forth. So
Right.
can you give yourself your own answer? Can you trust this?
Well, the whole thing is that it's only when I don't want to be with him that does he go out and, you know, use.
You must be his higher power.
Yeah.
No, that's not good. Let's get some comment from the audience here.
I don't think you should take him back. He's obviously a bad influence if he keeps going back to the drugs. And whether he feels that he doesn't need to be with you, that's ridiculous. He should be able to handle, you know, growing up and acting like an adult, like a responsible parent that he is.
Oh, yeah, he's a parent, too, this guy.
Here you go, Adam. Adam, relax. Yes, ma'am.
Well, if he keeps going back and forth, you know, he still has his addiction, then he's obviously not willing to give it up for the kids.
That's right, he's not. You're a genius, baby.
What kind of job? I mean, this guy's a heroin addict, so everybody considers him a bum. But I mean, what if he had like a ton of money? Would it make any difference to people? I mean, look at William Burroughs. Wasn't he a heroin addict pretty much his whole life?
Heroin addiction, the people who have heroin are not bums. They've got a severe disease.
But I'm saying, you know, like everybody's saying write the guy off, but what if he, you know, like Burroughs or something like that, what if it's a guy who had other things going for him?
Oh, listen, I think...
He does.
Shelley, I agree. I think you ought to give this guy a chance, but you have to understand what you're dealing with. Heroin addiction is a profound disease, and the probability of relapse is extraordinarily high. And somebody that keeps relapsing like this, I doubt he's been really sober, maybe at all. He may not yet have attained any degree of significant sobriety. What you have to understand is if he's going to have any probability of success, he's going to have to spend something like 3 to 6 months in a place, in a sober place, like a sober living or a residential treatment center. And you're going to have to require him to do that and to remain supportive of his treatment. In other words, reject the disease, create consequences when he's in his disease, but support his recovery. And it's going to require him going in somewhere and staying there for a long time if this is going to work itself out. All the yelling and screaming and carrying on that you do is only going to make things worse. You can go to Al-Anon, as I said to somebody else earlier. You can get some recovery from your codependency. You can work on your own program, which is obviously pretty weak.
Drew, I ran into a guy who went through your program.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's funny. I ran into this guy. It was like 2 days ago. I fly these model airplanes sometimes, and I go down. They have like a little airport and stuff. These little planes you fly through remote control, and the guys who hang out there on a Tuesday at 2 in the afternoon, man, we're talking about losers. Please. But you start talking to some of these guys, they're sort of unemployable. But this guy's doing all right. Said he went, you know, he knows Drew. He went through the program, was over at Los Encinas and all that kind of stuff. And then he said, went through the whole program. First day I got out, smoked 8-ball. I said, oh, Drew's doing a wonderful job. I mean, he did say that he waited till he got home. A lot of guys would before they got on the freeway.
Another unsolicited testimonial there.
But then he apparently went back and
relapse is part of the disease. It's the people that relapse and don't go back that get into trouble. So there you go.
All right, Drew. Yeah, Lisa. But he liked Drew as a person, and I think that's the important part. Lisa.
Hi.
What's going on?
Well, I've been with my boyfriend for a few months, and in the beginning, the sex was good, but now he goes limp during it. And so we've got to stop, put a porn tape in the VCR, press play, fast forward to a good part, or we've got to like get in a sexual position so he can see the TV screen. And,
fast forward to a good part. I like that.
My question is...
that's what watching porn is.
I feel like he could be going limp because of me. And is a normal sex life possible if he needs porn to stay erect?
Well, let's not blame the porn here.
Right off the top.
Porn's getting a bad rap.
Yeah.
No, I thank God for porn, or I wouldn't be getting any.
But that's right.
This sort of falls into the category of guns don't kill people, people kill people.
That's right. Let's not blame the porn. Thank God for porn.
Does he give you any explanation as to why he can't hold the erection?
He said that before he met me, he just masturbated to porn. He wasn't sleeping around or anything. So he just feels like
That's not an answer, by the way.
Wait a minute.
No,
No,
but-
that's more truthful than it's her fault. If the guy is conditioned that he can look at an inanimate object and feel safe and hold an erection, all of a sudden the girl in front of him, who is actually going to make him more vulnerable and is more scary to communicate to if he goes back to the inanimate object. It's like a woman using a vibrator all the time if he's getting used to a certain amount of security. It's not you. And I
Okay.
actually think the reason that he's giving you is a pretty valid argument. Doesn't mean that it's okay to do it forever.
Right.
You still got to work him off of it, but it's not you.
Well, he keeps saying it's not you. I promise it's not you. But it's
Move
like
your hand. I can't see the set.
No, I just like the idea. You're going to work him. You're going to work him off the porn.
I need to wean him off porn.
Slowly, we're going to wean you off that porn.
He's been working on it for years.
Yeah.
You have to go cold turkey, I think.
Cold
Right.
jerky is what it is. I'm not willing to put myself or my family through that at this point. You understand? It'd be a complete meltdown. I wouldn't show up, wouldn't be able to do the show, wouldn't be able to function. I'd be on the roof with the hunting
Have him meet some
rifle.
real porn stars in real life. That'll scared straight. He'll be done. We were on a plane yesterday coming into L.A., and I'm sitting in first class next to two obvious, like, porn actress and her bodybuilder, like, guy porn star friend. They're the freakiest people in the world. Huge like plastic. She had shoulders bigger than me. She had like some kind of thing going with her lip where they'd injected it and stuff. It was a, you saw that, you'd be like, turn the porn away. Never again, honey.
All right, so flying, well, he's got a tour with Chris's band, I guess is the answer.
Come on.
He certainly could play the tambourine or something. What's one more
If he's masturbating all the time,
yeah, 3 hands.
We'll wrap it up for her. No, come on.
Okay. This guy needs this to function because this is how he got used to functioning for a long time when you weren't around.
It may be something between them or about her or something.
Yeah, don't read too much into it. If it's working, let him weave it in, but start working it out. That's all.
Right.
Start working it out. Don't go nuts about it. Sherry is on the phone. Sherry? What line 5. Sherry?
Yes.
What's
Hello?
going on?
Okay, basically it started 5 years ago. I was modeling and dancing in New York, and I became completely addicted with heroin. And since then, I've moved to California, and I joined the Methadone maintenance program. For about 4 months now, I've been clean and sober for the first time in my life. That I am so lethargic, and I'm immobile. I have no social life anymore.
Wait, Sherry,
Yeah.
you said methadone maintenance?
Methadone maintenance, yeah.
So you're strung out on methadone still.
Well, I'm on a methadone program now.
That's not clean and sober, Sherry. That's not even close.
Well,
That's dependent on methadone.
well, I go to a clinic every
Doesn't it
day.
slow you
there
down?
are counselors there.
Yeah, hold on. Explain methadone.
Methadone
Who
is
doesn't like this methadone?
Methadone is a pill or a liquid. It's a long-acting heroin, basically. It just lasts longer, so you don't get the same ups and downs. It doesn't create the same kinds of behaviors and cravings that go along with heroin. You don't inject
it slows you way down.
Oh,
right?
hey, listen, I've never seen a methadone maintenance sustained. It always, the house of cards always falls apart. You get
I
depressed.
talked to Chet Baker, the musician, on methadone.
Yeah.
It took like 20 minutes to get a sentence out.
Yeah, people are really
It's
slowed
like-
down.
Really?
For
I'm
what
on
Sherry's-
170 milligrams, too.
Sherry, that is spectacularly high dose.
It is.
Yeah.
What's an average dose?
30 to 60. And even then, it's extremely difficult to get off this drug. I mean, the reason you don't feel good is you're on so much methadone, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I don't want to, look, these methadone maintenance programs, fine, they help people. It's primarily for people that can't get well through any other means.
I mean,
and they
yeah.
don't die because they're not, chasing heroin or getting intravenous infections that they would get if they shoot heroin. I mean, it is a improvement over heroin, but it is still the same disease. It is still your opiate addiction. You are not clean and sober, not even close.
Really?
And methadone, the reason I hate methadone so much is the most difficult drug to come off of.
That and a bad aftertaste, right? True?
That too.
What,
It's so hard
what
for
if
me
I
to
took
hear
some of that
I'm not
methadone?
clean and sober, though,
I know.
because
Shouldn't she get something for the idea? If she's changing her mindset, if yes, she's chemically dependent on something, but isn't it a step downward? I mean, her lifestyle's got to have changed tremendously. She's not getting it in a bar. She's getting it at a
That's
clinic.
the positive part. That's the good news.
Yeah, I
is
see a
that, is that
counselor.
is that the behavioral part and the consequences are less with methadone. She's been supervised. I mean, it sounds like things are better in your life. You're improved, but
I've never been sober in 5 years.
You're still not sober.
Yeah, but
Sherry,
listen, you're
I
taking
mean,
us.
4 months without sticking a needle in my arm, without
that's great.
just prostituting myself on the street.
Do you understand?
Now I'm continuing a program every day. I go
That's good. That's
get my
good.
medication and come
All right,
home.
Sherry, that's excellent.
That's good. Now
That's
it's
excellent.
just time to go to the next level.
It may be time to go to the next level, which is getting off drugs altogether, or maybe not. I mean, there are some people that are not treatable. I mean, Sherry, you were sexually abused when you were a kid? I would predict yes.
Once, yeah.
I mean, this is that story. And heroin is the one that corrects those horrible feelings that people walk around with.
Yeah, I miss my children. They're in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, so much pain. And the heroin works for that, and that's why people just go right after it. Then the biology activates, the disease takes off, and it's extremely difficult in this kind of situation to get off these drugs altogether. And congratulations on doing better.
What do they do? What do they do with the methadone? They got her on this high amount of methadone. Then after, what's their plan
I choose
next?
my own dose, actually.
I understand. What's the plan for you after? Are they going to try to taper you down someday?
Yeah, they're going to try to taper me down.
Okay.
I want to go down maybe 5 milligrams every other week.
But understand, just get it in your thinking, Sherry, that ultimately you want to get off drugs altogether, and that's when
my goal.
Right, and that's when you'll truly be clean and sober, and that's when you'll begin to deal with these horrible feelings that you've had to walk around with most of your life,
Right.
and connect with people in a real way, and not be dependent on drugs to manage your life. Okay?
So I'm not going to get over this lethargic feeling
Not until
locked away from the world unless I just taper down and get off completely. I'm
Well,
going to be like this.
You'll feel better when you get down below 80 milligrams. Okay?
Listen, I feel like crap and I'm not on anything.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Sexual desire.
Maybe. I'm reading an email, all right? It says, to Drew, Adam, and Diane.
What's that?
It's addressed to you.
Oh, yay.
My first memory is of My first memory is of playing with myself. Since then, I haven't let a day go by without masturbating, and I've developed a huge collection of porn. During the day, I'll even think I need to set aside some time to masturbate.
Does this come from the White House? It's on presidential stationery.
Justin, you there? Justin,
doing?
we're good.
Hi,
We're going to get to you in
Justin.
just a second, okay?
Okay.
All right.
He knows what he was doing on hold. It was a two-pager, but the other one got stuck to the other one and destroyed when we tried to peel it off. All right, Justin, we'll take a break. We'll look a little more at a Chris Isaak video, and then we'll come back and get to your Johnson.
line3@aol.com. Please include your phone number.
Hey, it's more Loveline with Chris Isaak. Speak of the Devil is the name of the latest CD. Justin emailed us. Drew fumbled through it. Justin masturbates a lot, right?
That's true.
That's true. And do you have a girlfriend?
Currently, yes, and I've managed to curb my activity somewhat. But I'm wondering, how can I break this habit?
Let me explore with you a little bit about this first memory. Genuinely, the first memory you have is of fondling yourself?
Well, one of the first. It's been progressive since then.
How old were you when you had the first memory?
About 3 or 4.
Were you sexualized in some way at that age? I mean,
No.
Did you see something or somebody do something to you?
No, not at all.
Did that ever happen to you while you were growing up?
No.
Because that's one way people become sexual
Right.
compulsive is you get exposed to people's sexuality, or somebody touches them or violates them in some sexual
Right.
way. The kids become hypersexual.
How old were you when you started the masturbating, the serious masturbating?
I wasn't able to ejaculate or anything
avocational?
when I was 3 or 4, but I was probably around 10 when I was actually able to.
No. 10?
About
Fifth
that,
grade?
yeah.
10, you don't start. I would have never.
You could start that
I would
early,
have dropped
couldn't
out of school.
These are boys.
I'm 10 years old, I'm in the room smoking.
What?
Boys are older than girls?
Boys mature in puberty later.
Than
Boys don't-
women?
you
'Cause
cannot
girls can
produce
start in
sperm
about
at
5th
10.
grade.
Well,
11, 12, but guys
No.
usually a year or two later.
Oh, okay.
Justin, nothing came out of your Pepe at age 10.
really, it was just
the
a
medical
little bit,
term?
not like a lot, but
I mean, maybe something could happen. I mean, it's a neurologic mechanism. Maybe the mechanism had evolved enough that something could happen. It's possible. I suppose. I mean, I've never heard of it, but it's possible.
All right.
But just why? So now, are you having consequences from your masturbating? I mean, are you turning away from normal activities and things?
No, but it still kind of preoccupies my thoughts. Like I have to stop myself from going out and seeking porns and this and that. But
how's it affecting your relationship?
well, I've cheated on my girlfriend before. It was a long relationship, and so it's come to that. It's just about anything with sex, you know, clubs, magazines, movies, whatever.
Doesn't it sound feasible to you that Justin thinks he's a sex addict, but it doesn't really seem so? I mean, to cheat on a girlfriend in your age, it's not the nicest thing, but it's almost age appropriate at the end of a long-term
totally
relationship.
Preoccupied every day with masturbating, even you.
Yeah. You ever do one on the road, like when you're driving?
No.
Oh, man, me neither. Whoever, you have to be a pretty sick puppy to do that.
Do you have a job,
Especially if you're driving a stick.
That's commitment.
They call in with problems and you give them hints, is that it? Here's something you haven't tried.
Especially if you're delivering alcohol when you're a senior in high school.
Justin, what are you asking from us?
I'm wondering how can I break this habit.
Well, how many times do you do it a day?
Usually about once a day.
Oh, please. I've had enough. I really am. Once a day.
But in general, I mean, just...
once a day in a coma, I do once a day. Once a day?
Well, now with your car tip, he'll be up to 2 times a day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just you have to evaluate whether or not this is some expression of some trauma in your childhood or whether this is a true sexual compulsion. If you don't have a family history of alcoholism, if you're not having consequences, then it really doesn't fit addiction per se.
And you will probably just outgrow it as long as you're not holding on to it,
Unless,
like, I have this thing, and this is my
again,
problem.
unless there's some issue from the past.
What are you, some kind of a black activist or something?
Right on.
Right on.
Once a day, right on. Oh, you're a sex machine, Justin.
All right, listen, if you think you have a problem, then treat it like a problem. Once a day doesn't sound like that much of a problem to me, all right?
Okay.
God, I hope it's not, because I'm really in bad shape. Sharam. Is that the name? Sharam is my porn name, by the way. Sharam?
Yeah,
How do you say your name?
Sharam.
All right, what's going on there?
Okay, well, I have kind of a double question. I'll be kicking it with my girlfriend, and we'll smoke a little bit of weed, and then go back to my bedroom to get our groove on. Now, a few minutes after we get our groove on, I'll have to stop because I have to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, wait there 5 minutes to lose my erection before I can urinate, and then go finish up what I was doing. Now, what my question is, why do I have to pee every time immediately after I smoke some weed, and why do I have to lose my erection before I can pee? This is kind of unfortunate for my girlfriend.
This is a good one. Did you drink any of the bong water? Sometimes that'll fill your bladder up, don't you? All right, listen, my Sharama, we're going to have to take a little break here. Look a little more Chris Isaak frolicking on the beach with another babe. And then we'll come back, and we'll answer your question.
What's the problem? What's the question? What's the answer? Where's this?
More Loveline with Chris Isaak. Speak of the Devil's the name of the CD. Sharam is in the Easy Bake Oven. Sharam?
Yeah.
Sharam, he smokes some weed, has some sex, has to interrupt the sex to urinate, loses the erection, then goes back and finishes the sex.
Do they show this program in other countries?
Possibly, yes, yeah.
Because I'm just thinking they're just having a wonderful opinion of the United States. They're going, that's the big problem in the U.S. is that you're having pot and sex, and you have to worry about, you know, that's your problem.
You have to go bomb Iraq.
Yeah, right.
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 Got it tough, Sharam.
Well, listen, all you other countries, you can kiss my American ass. I'll say that right now. And let me just say something before we get into back to Sharam and his urination here. All you people thinking of coming to this country, fine. But remember, you're coming to this country because your country sucks. So, you're fleeing oppression, you're fleeing famine, you got a tire burning around you. Don't come to this country and pretend like you left Disneyland. I can't stand that. Oh, all of a sudden, their country All of a sudden, their country becomes some utopia. Oh, in my country's the greatest. You wave the flag in
For
front
a
of your
free
house.
copy of this diatribe, send $2 to Post Office Box.
Yeah, this will be on the blooper loop.
Please, you're coming to this country for a reason. Why aren't we going to your country, by the way? I'll tell you why. It's a dump. That's why. So you're coming here. Treat it like it was your new home and be proud. For all right. Sharon, what the? All right.
All right.
Hey, does Sharon believe that it's the pot that makes him need to lose his erection?
Yeah, I want to stay away from the pot issue because it's a whole separate thing.
Or
that I think
where he
we've
went
dealt
to
with.
school entirely.
Yeah, we've dealt with that a little bit already tonight. But just understand, Sharon, when you get an erection, when you get stimulated, sometimes it can irritate your prostate, and it can create a sense of need to urinate, an urgency. And if you had just urinated before the stimulation, you needn't go ahead and go empty your bladder because there's not really going to be much there, even though you feel as though you need to. And the way the man's plumbing is configured, it's very difficult to evacuate your bladder when you have an erection. It's just the way it's set up.
Okay.
Okay, so...
It's not only the man's plumbing, but it's actually the plumbing in the house.
That's
true.
true.
You'll pee all over the potpourri basket if you try to relieve yourself of an erection.
That's true. And
that's why I like to just live in like a monkey cage with a drain. You know where the floor just slants and there's a hose bib over here and some guy with boots comes in. You just pee wherever you want, do whatever. It all just ends up in the same place. It all makes
You thought this out, have you?
Yeah.
A guy with boots comes in.
You got that tire
We're
swing.
entering your fantasy life here.
But you need a VCR.
Monkey cage wouldn't be a bad room if you think about it. Like just in your house, the monkey cage. We got the floor. Do whatever you want on the floor.
They're not going for it.
When you're like half done with the beer, like the beer went flat or something, just chuck it. Just throw it against the wall. You play on the tree. You got a jungle gym. You got the tire swing.
Oh, you're talking about going out on tour. Yeah, that's good.
the deal is that you can't go too close there because Adam will fling his poo at you.
Oh, well.
Let's go on.
When you enter the monkey cage, you have to be prepared, Drew.
Let's go to Jason. What's going on, Jason?
How's it going?
Hey.
Hey.
All right, last week I was at some bars and I got really blitzed. I ended up putting on the beer goggles and I hooked up with one of my girlfriend's sorority sisters. As a result of it, neither one will talk to me now. I tried to tell my girlfriend that it wasn't my fault that I was drunk, but she just won't forgive me. I just don't understand why she can't understand that when guys get drunk, they do some things that they shouldn't normally do.
Oh, because we've left that century, Jason.
There's no answer for this. Whatever you do, loaded, it's you doing it. And by the way, no one held you down and massaged your throat and dumped alcohol into you. You got your own ass loaded. So whose fault could it be?
It is either completely your responsibility or if it's part of a more general disease where people do have very serious behavioral disturbances when they drink, particularly when they're alcoholic, then do something about that. But it's not your girlfriend's issue, it's yours, and you're responsible for it either way. So.
And it's no different than getting popped for drunk driving or whatever. Your excuse isn't, oh, but officer, I was drunk. You got busted. You shouldn't have done this when you were loaded. And it's no different than anything you do when you're drunk. It's no different in the eyes of the law, and it's no different in the eyes of your girlfriend, who's is the law in this case. All right, are you holding the book up there? Look at us. Look how handsome we are.
Yeah.
We're going to give that to Chris so he can give it to someone in his band. He doesn't need it. Chris Isaak, everybody. Speak of the devil.
There it is.
There it is. Very good. You really should be a hand model. So, until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew and Diane Farr saying mahalo.